Chief Oladipo Adebayo was a name that resounded with pride in Nigeria. As one of Africa's wealthiest men, his face adorned newspapers, and his donations to orphanages and widows became headlines. Schools named halls after him, and churches reserved front pews for his arrival. His broad shoulders, clean-shaven head, and gentle smile inspired hope among the poor. To them, he was God's helper on earth. But deep beneath the charisma and televised kindness lay a secret darker than oil spills. In quiet boardrooms and hidden forests, his agents bulldozed villages for illegal mining. Gold, lithium, and rare earth minerals flowed from these sites into offshore accounts, leaving displaced families to wander homeless with no compensation. Yet the world saw only his generous facade, and Chief Oladipo planned to keep it that way forever. Adaora Mbah sat on the wooden bench of her modest newsroom in Lagos, typing fiercely. At 27, with bright almond eyes and braided hair tied into a bun, she was known for unearthing corruption stories. Growing up fatherless and watching her mother struggle as a roadside bean seller had fueled her fire for justice. She believed that journalism was her way to change Nigeria for the better. That evening, as she sipped cold gari water to ease her hunger, her editor, Mr. Johnson, walked in with files. "Adaora, here's your next assignment," he said, dropping the brown envelope on her desk. "Investigate Chief Oladipo's recent donation to Divine Mercy Orphanage." Something doesn't add up with the money trail. Her heart thudded. Exposing powerful men was dangerous, but the thrill of truth always overpowered her fear. The next morning, Adaora boarded a rickety bus to Divine Mercy Orphanage on the outskirts of Lagos. The matron welcomed her warmly, thinking she was just another reporter coming to glorify Chief Oladipo's benevolence. As Adaora walked around, interviewing children and staff, she noticed something strange. The rooms were still leaking, the mattresses torn, and the kitchen roof almost collapsed despite the supposed millions donated. That evening, back at her rented room, she dug into government records and financial disclosures. Her fingers trembled as she realized only a fraction of the donated money reached the orphanage. The rest had been funneled to shell companies linked to mining licenses. "No," she whispered into the darkness. "This can't be real." But the deeper she searched, the clearer it became. Chief Oladipo was using charity as a cover. As dawn broke, Adaora visited her childhood friend, Seyi, who worked in the state ministry. Seyi, plump and cheerful with wide, curious eyes, scanned the documents Adaora laid before her. "This is dangerous, she whispered. "Do you know who you're dealing with? This man can disappear your entire family without blinking." "I know," Adaora said softly, staring at her cracked phone screen. "But who will speak if I don't? Villages are being wiped away for his illegal mines. Children are sleeping under trees while he buys private jets in Dubai." Seyi sighed deeply, clutching Adaora's hand. "Just promise me you'll be careful. I don't want to bury my friend before her time." Guided by coordinates she found on a leaked company memo, Adaora traveled 6 hours to a remote village in Kogi State. The sun scorched her skin as she stepped off the bike taxi, clutching her camera and files. But when she asked the villagers about the mining site, their faces went cold with fear. Old men shook their heads silently. Young mothers turned away, clutching their babies tightly. Finally, a gray-bearded elder pulled her aside behind his mud hut. "Leave this place, my daughter," he whispered. "We tried fighting them. They burnt our farms and chased our sons away. If they know you are asking questions, you will not leave here alive." Adaora's chest tightened with dread, but determination burned brighter than fear in her eyes. By the time Adaora returned to Lagos, her inbox was flooded with anonymous threats. "Drop the story or die poor and forgotten," one email read. Another warned, "Your mother sells beans by the roadside at Oyingbo Market. Pity she has only one daughter to bury." Her hands trembled as she scrolled through them. Tears gathered in her eyes, thinking of her mother's wrinkled hands, scraping burnt pot bottoms to feed her. That night, Adaora cried into her pillow, wondering if this battle was worth it. But at dawn, she woke up, wiped her tears, and prepared her notes. "If my silence means more villages destroyed, then I will not keep quiet," she whispered to herself. Her fear became fuel, and her resolve hardened like steel. She decided to infiltrate his inner circle. Wearing her only black gown and borrowing gold earrings from Seyi, Adaora attended Chief Oladipo's fundraising gala at Echo Hotel. The hall glittered with chandeliers. Politicians, socialites, and musicians praised him endlessly. When he finally appeared in his cream agbada and red coral beads, the room erupted in applause. As he spoke about saving the poor children of Nigeria, Adaora's camera secretly recorded his every gesture. Her eyes narrowed, watching the powerful men who patted his back with respect. Behind every speech about God and mercy lay a cunning predator's smile. For the first time, she felt the scale of what she was up against. Later that night, Adaora reviewed her recordings and spotted a familiar face beside Chief Oladipo Honorable Balogun, the same lawmaker who signed off on mining permits in Kogi. She cross-checked company records again. His name appeared as a silent partner in multiple mining ventures. Her pulse quickened. "They're all connected," she whispered. Just then, her phone buzzed. An unknown number texted, "Stop digging or you will join the dead journalists you admire." Her blood ran cold. Adaora knew too well the fate of journalists who crossed powerful men, unclaimed bodies on expressways. No justice, no closure. But she clenched her fists and began drafting her expose anyway. The next morning, Adaora tracked down one of Chief Oladipo's ex-accountants, Mr. Goke, now a sickly man living in a dilapidated room in Ikorodu. He refused to speak at first, fearful and shaking. But when she showed him the images of displaced villagers, his eyes filled with tears. "I only handled the paperwork," he croaked. "I didn't know they burnt entire villages. I thought it was legal mining." Adaora pressed record on her phone as he continued. "Yes, Oladipo has shell companies in Dubai and Mauritius. Donations are laundered through them. He pays thugs to silence communities resisting mining. That is all I know. Please leave me out of it." Adaora nodded solemnly. She left with her heart heavy, but her story stronger. When Adaora got home that evening, she found her mother, Mama Adaora, sitting on the torn cushion, weeping. "My daughter, 2 men came here today. They said if you don't stop your stubborn writing, they will burn my stall and kill us." Adaora hugged her tightly as tears fell down her cheeks. "Mama, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring danger here." Her mother sobbed into her shoulder. "What will I do if they kill you? Who will bury me when I die?" That night, Adaora sat alone in her room, staring at her ceiling fan. Her chest ached with guilt and fear. But her spirit whispered, "If not you, then who will fight for them?" The following morning, Adaora presented her findings to Mr. Johnson. His wrinkled forehead deepened as he scanned her notes and recordings. "Adaora, this is groundbreaking," he whispered. "But it's suicide. We can't publish this. Do you know who Chief Oladipo is? He funds half of the politicians in this state. Our paper will be shut down overnight." Adaora felt as though her chest was caving in. "So we let him continue destroying villages and laundering charity money for mines that poison water and bury families alive?" she demanded, tears gathering in her eyes. Mr. Johnson sighed deeply, avoiding her gaze. "My daughter is in university. My wife is recovering from cancer. I can't risk their lives. Please, Adaora, drop it." Feeling hopeless but unwilling to give up, Adaora contacted Femi, an old university friend who ran an underground radio broadcast known for exposing hidden truths. That night, they met in his small studio, lit only by a blinking fluorescent bulb. Femi listened intently to her recordings and interviews. His eyes widened with each revelation. "This is explosive," he said. "If we air this, Nigeria will shake. But Adaora, they will come for you first. Are you ready for that?" Adaora took a deep breath, feeling fear rise in her throat, but she nodded firmly. "If I die, at least the truth will live." Femi clasped her hand tightly in silent respect before preparing the midnight broadcast. At exactly 12:30 a.m., Femi's voice cut through the silent airwaves of Lagos. "Tonight, we bring you the truth hidden beneath generosity. Listen carefully." Adaora's voice followed, trembling but strong, as she narrated the billions laundered through orphanages and the hidden mines displacing villages. She named every shell company and implicated official, playing the recordings as proof. All across Nigeria, people woke up to WhatsApp forwards of the broadcast. Twitter exploded with hashtags, Village leaders began calling human rights lawyers. But as dawn broke, Adaora's phone buzzed relentlessly. Some messages praised her bravery. Others promised death. By morning, two black SUVs parked outside her compound. Adaora watched them from behind her torn curtain, her pulse hammering. Men in dark caftans and sunglasses surveyed the streets silently. Her neighbor's toddler ran out to play, and one of the men kicked the child away in irritation. Rage burned in Adaora's veins. She knew they were here for her. She packed her laptop, files, and a spare wrapper into a small nylon bag. She kissed her sleeping mother's forehead softly, tears dripping onto her frail skin. Then, slipping out the back door, Adaora disappeared into the crowded streets of Lagos, praying silently for protection. Femi connected her to an NGO that sheltered threatened journalists. For days, Adaora hid in a one-room safe house near Oota, surrounded by peeling blue walls and old mattresses. Every night she lay awake, haunted by fear for her mother, her friends, and herself. Yet her phone buzzed endlessly with calls from international journalists who picked up her story. BBC, Al Jazeera, and Sahara reporters began requesting interviews. Her exposé was spreading like wildfire beyond Nigeria's borders. Chief Oladipo's team scrambled to release statements, branding her as an enemy of progress and development, but the world was listening. Within days, Chief Oladipo held a televised press conference. Dressed in pure white agbada with gold embroidery, he stood before a line of clapping children at Divine Mercy Orphanage. "These accusations are false," he said, his deep voice oozing authority. "I am a humble servant of God, giving my wealth to the poor. This girl is only seeking fame through lies." He donated another N$500 million on camera. The children danced barefoot around him while cameras flashed. Watching from her hiding place, Adaora felt bile rise in her throat. "Evil is powerful when it wears righteousness as a mask," she whispered to herself. Despite his denials, the international community began investigations. Foreign governments suspended mining contracts linked to his companies. Banks froze suspicious accounts. Human rights organizations sent teams to villages in Kogi State and Niger State to document mass displacements. Videos of crying mothers and burnt homes flooded global platforms, stirring outrage. Adaora's story ignited a movement among young Nigerians who marched in protest, demanding justice for affected communities. #Oladipo Exposed trended for days, but the billionaire remained protected by powerful political allies at home. One rainy evening, Adaora received a blocked call. A deep voice whispered, "Your mother is with us. If you want her back alive, go on TV and say you fabricated everything. You have 24 hours. The call ended before she could respond. Adaora's legs buckled as tears streamed down her face, mixing with the rain leaking through the roof. Femi arrived shortly after, finding her curled up on the floor, shaking with grief. "We will get her back," he whispered, hugging her tightly. But Adaora felt her spirit cracking. How could she sacrifice her mother's life for villages that might never know her name? That night, another call came through. This time it was her mother's frail voice. "My Adaora, don't give up. Even if they kill me, don't let them continue this evil. God gave you this gift for a reason. I am proud of you." Before Adaora could reply, the line went dead. She wailed into the darkness, clutching her chest as if her heart would rip apart. Her mother's courage reignited her resolve. She stood up, wiped her tears, and prepared for war. "If I die fighting this, so be it. Evil will not win silently," she whispered fiercely. With Femi's contacts, Adaora connected with a human rights lawyer, Barrister Ifema, who negotiated with the kidnappers using legal and underground connections. Days passed in agonizing silence until one humid evening, Mama Adaora was dumped near a bus stop, weak but alive. Her arms were bruised and her eyes sunken with hunger, but she smiled when she saw Adaora. "My child," she whispered, hugging her tightly, "God kept me alive to see your victory." Adaora wept into her mother's wrapper, feeling both relief and raging fury against Chief Oladipo's cruelty. Under mounting international pressure, EFCC filed charges against Chief Oladipo for money laundering, illegal mining, and human rights violations. Armed guards raided his mansion, seizing documents and freezing accounts. News cameras captured him in handcuffs, though his eyes still burned with arrogance and hatred. Adaora watched the broadcast, trembling with disbelief. For the first time in years, she felt justice was not just a word but a living force. Villagers in Kogi and Niger State held vigils, praying blessings over her name for generations to come. But Chief Oladipo's loyalists were not done. Two motorbikes chased Adaora and Femi's car one rainy night, firing shots into their windows. They escaped narrowly, tires screeching across flooded streets as lightning lit up Lagos skyline. Femi's forehead bled from shattered glass, but he grinned weakly at Adaora. "They're scared now. That means you're winning." Adora's hands shook as she tied a wrapper around his wound. "This is bigger than me now," she whispered. "This is God's battle." The courtroom overflowed with journalists as Chief Oladipo's lawyers argued fiercely for his release, claiming evidence was fabricated. But one by one, villagers testified, NGO reports were submitted, and Mr. Gok's video confession was played. Chief Oladipo sat stone-faced in the dock, his kingdom of lies crumbling with every word spoken against him. Adaora sat beside Barrister Ifeoma, praying silently. The judge's gavel fell heavily as he pronounced, "Chief Oladipo Adebayo, you are hereby sentenced to 25 years imprisonment for crimes against humanity and environmental destruction." Tears streamed down Adaora's face as the courtroom erupted in shocked whispers. When Adaora returned to Divine Mercy Orphanage to follow up, children ran towards her with bright eyes, hugging her tightly. The matron wept, thanking her repeatedly. International NGOs had begun renovations with new transparent donations. As she watched workers lay fresh roofing sheets and paint-peeling walls, Adaora felt peace bloom within her chest. That evening, as the sun set behind rustling palm trees, Adaora and her mother sat outside their room, sharing roasted plantain and groundnut. Her mother squeezed her hand softly. "You did it, my daughter. You gave a voice to the voiceless." Months later, Adaora was awarded Journalist of the Year by the African Investigative Journalism Council. As she stepped onto the stage in her purple Ankara gown, she felt tears burn behind her eyelids. The hall roared with applause. Cameras flashed and banners bore her name. But deep inside, she knew her award was not for fame or glory. It was a reminder that truth has a cost, and the courage to pay it saves lives. As she looked at the crowd, she whispered silently, "This is for every village buried under mining dust. Your stories will never be forgotten." If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more timeless tales. See you next time.